Hello and welcome to Codex Lee. My name is Lee and this is a channel all about books. So it's been a while. I've been on a bit of an unplanned YouTube break for about 6 months now, and this video is all just about easing myself back into booktubing again. So the reason that I took a break was because I was just feeling a little bit fed up with filming booktube videos. The last video I did before I went on a break was kind of an in-depth response to a book called Walking with the Wind, a memoir of the movement by John Lewis. I really enjoyed that book. I had a lot of thoughts about that book. I learned a lot from that book, and I put a lot of work into making that video. And then I released the video and it didn't really get any views, and as the days went on and as the weeks went on, it just wasn't getting any views. And I know you're not supposed to film videos for the sake of views, but I just put a lot of work into that video and it was quite demoralizing when nobody was watching it. I mean, there were some views, but there really weren't that many. The more recent videos I've been doing prior to that point, they were more of these kind of in-depth responses, I suppose. They were kind of a mix of reviews, but also kind of what I'd learned, what I'd taken away from these books that I'd read. And that's the direction that I saw the channel going. But then once I did that Walking with the Wind video and it didn't really get much of a response, I began to reevaluate whether this was the kind of channel that I wanted to put my time into. Anyway, months passed, and during the course of those months, I would kind of check in on how all the videos that I'd put up were doing. And what I've come to learn over the course of these 6 months is that, well, first of all, don't judge a video by how it performs in the first days or even in the first weeks. Now, to be quite blunt, that John Lewis video I did has still not performed very well. It hasn't had, not many people have watched it, but other videos I've done have performed very well indeed. And so I started reflecting on the fact that some of my videos do well and some of my videos don't do well, and that it is probably much healthier if you really are interested in how your videos are performing. And I am, because I figure as much as anybody might pretend that they're not interested in how their videos do, I mean, surely everybody is interested, because otherwise why would you do it? You want to know that people are watching your videos. Otherwise, why put the time into it? That's the way I feel about it anyway. So I was looking at how some of my other videos were doing, and I could see that some of them were doing really well. Some of them were not doing very well. Some of them didn't do very well after I first released them, but over the course of weeks and sometimes months, they would find an audience and the viewing numbers would go up. Similarly, with the subscriber numbers for my channel, over the last 6 months, I haven't released anything on this channel, but I've had an increase in the number of subscribers. And I think that's partly through people finding some of my older videos and enjoying those and subscribing. So I've come to accept that I think it's much healthier to assess your channel as a whole, rather than fixating on the newest video you've put out and any one particular video and how it performs. Because not every video that I do or that anybody does is going to perform brilliantly. Some of them will perform very well and some of them won't, and that's okay. So I think I just need to learn to stop giving myself such a hard time and putting so much pressure on myself on every video that I create. So that was lesson number 1. Lesson number 2 is not to be too concerned about how often I put videos out. I know having videos that go out regularly is meant to be a good thing, but as I said, I haven't put anything out for 6 months, but some of my other videos have been racking up views. My subscriber count has been going up, so I think as long as I am putting content out every once in a while, I think that's all that matters. I think the main thing is to put content out when I have something to put out, when I have something to say. Otherwise, I'm just kind of forcing myself and not enjoying it. So lesson number 2 is to create videos when I want to create videos and not when I feel that I have to. Lesson number 3, I guess, is more on the type of content that I want to do. So as I said, that John Lewis video didn't do very well, but the one I did before that, which was a kind of a response to David Olusoga's book, Black and British, that has performed really well, relative to the other stuff that I do. I think it's my second best performing video. I didn't feel as though I put any more effort into that video than I had on the John Lewis video. I don't know why that one did so much better. It may be something as simple as thumbnails. I feel like the thumbnail for Black and British looked really good, whereas the one for Walking with the Wind probably wasn't a very good thumbnail. So it might be something as simple as a thumbnail. That's the hook that brings people in and they start watching it and then they enjoy it. Who knows? I do think good thumbnails probably do help. So I guess this is just to say that I will do more in-depth kind of response videos to books that I've read. I shouldn't be put off by the fact that one of them that I did didn't perform very well, because another one that I did has performed very well. So I will continue to do those. I've got one kind of planned and written up already. This is the thing with these response videos. They take quite a bit of time to do because I obviously have to read the book. If it's a book that I'm going to do, a kind of an extended response to, then I also need to write fairly extensive notes on the book as I'm reading it. Then I need to organize those notes in such a way that it forms some kind of a script. I don't read that script word for word, but it needs some kind of a script, some kind of a flow. I need to do additional research for various different links or images or video clips that I might want to intersperse into the videos as well. That takes a fair amount of time. And then just the usual process of filming and editing and all the rest of it. It takes hours and hours of work to do one of those videos that typically last about kind of 10 to 15 minutes, I think. So I don't want to be doing those all the time, but I do want to do them because I feel like there are certain books where either they affect me quite profoundly or I'm learning quite a lot from reading them, and I really want to share that with people, so I will continue to do that. But there are other videos I've done that I haven't put a huge amount of effort into, and they've done very well. Sometimes they're quite ad-libbed, or sometimes I've kind of partly organized my thoughts and written things down and then partly ad-libbed. So an example of something that was pretty completely ad-libbed was the video I did on the Delayed Gratification magazine. I really enjoy these magazines. I've been reading them for a while. I just wanted to talk to people about how cool this magazine was and what I'd learned, and to kind of give some examples from some of the back issues. I suppose I kind of did plan that in the sense that I had to go through these back issues and find interesting pieces, but I didn't really plan what I was going to say about those pieces very much. So it was pretty much entirely ad-libbed. And again, this is an example of a video where I put it out, and initially it just didn't really get any kind of viewership at all. It was kind of in the single figures for ages. Then I went on the 6-month break, and during the course of those 6 months, that video has picked up more and more views, and it's now got something like 100 views or something, which is pretty good for me because I have quite a small channel. So that's a good example of something where there wasn't a huge amount of preparation that went into it. It didn't perform that well when it first went out, but over time I found a bit of an audience. And did quite well. So I think I will do some more videos where there's not much prep. It might just be some rambling thoughts, just like this video. There are other videos where there was a bit more planning that went into them, but they weren't as highly scripted and as highly researched and prepared as the longer response pieces. So an example of this is when I reviewed Let the Right One In. So, I did write down some thoughts about that book as I was reading it, and after I'd read it, I did have to find a few video clips to intersperse into that review. But beyond that, I didn't do much more work than that. So that there's a little bit of research, a little bit of planning, but not a huge amount. And this is a video that has done very well. I think it's one of my 3rd best or 4th best performing video on my channel. I've had some nice comments, and people really seem to have enjoyed that review. So lesson number 3 is to have a variety of different content in terms of the amount of effort that goes into the content. And then lesson number 4 is to continue to review and respond to fiction as well as non-fiction. So over the last 6 months, I've read a lot of non-fiction. I would say that I've predominantly read non-fiction since I've been on a break from BookTube. But the fact of the matter is that review of Let the Right One In performed really well, people really liked it, and my highest performing video is also a review of a horror book. I do enjoy reading horror, and I want to find more horror to read and to review. It seems to do quite well. I enjoy reading it, I enjoy talking about it. I don't want to review bad horror, in the sense that I don't want to read horror that I know I'm going to find sort of hugely problematic or whatever. I read quite a lot of that with Stephen King and The Fog. The thing about my review of The Fog is I've been astonished at how well that's done. As far as my channel goes, it's had hundreds and hundreds of views. It's had loads of comments. But it was a fairly negative review because I didn't really enjoy that book. There was a lot I didn't like about it. There was a lot I found hugely problematic about it. It was a misogynist book. It was a homophobic book. It was a badly written book. And I was quite candid about that. I don't think I was mean about the book. I think I just kind of calmly assessed my response to it, which was, you know, mostly quite critical. But I still get comments. I still get comments from dudes, and they're always dudes who are saying that I'm woke and, you know, this is cancel culture and whatever. It's all this kind of reactionary crap in the comments. And I didn't even bother responding to it because, you know, what's the point? But I don't want my channel to be that. I don't want it to be like me talking about how problematic I found a book from some kind of politically progressive angle. I don't think there's a huge amount of value in just kind of calling out all the problematic stuff I read in problematic books. And it mostly just draws, you know, comments that just kind of irritate me. So lesson number 5, are we on 5 or 4? Anyway, the last lesson is to continue to review fiction as well as non-fiction, because I think there's an audience for both, and I enjoy reading and talking about both of those things as well. So there you go. It's great to be back. Sorry I've been away for so long. Those are kind of some of my reflections. I hope as well that you like the new background that I've got. I thought I would, you know, that's part of the reason why I waited so long to do these videos again, because the background in my office, my kind of makeshift office, was a bit dull. So I've kind of tried this. This bookcase, actually, me and my wife put this together ourselves. The shelves are from, the bookcases are from IKEA, but we sort of put this trim and we painted it and kind of fitted it into place. So I think it looks quite nice. We've got another set that's like over the other side of the room. Maybe if there's interest at some point, I could do a bookshelf tour. I've got about 400 books or so. There's a good mix of fiction and non-fiction. So if anybody's interested, I can kind of talk about some of my books. You can kind of see some of them here in the background. So I hope you like the new background. I hope you like the sound of where this channel is going in future. I do appreciate it if you are watching now and if you have been watching, and thanks so much for sticking with me. And as usual, please give this video a like if you enjoyed it. Please subscribe to my channel. Stay safe, and I will speak to you guys soon. Bye.